Hi everyone, and welcome to another Frequently Asked Questions. I'm Robin Vogels, your host, if you like. I'm the owner of Personnel Relocations, and I answer questions each week that are received via email or phone call to my offices. And the idea is that these questions might be something you're wondering with, and they might be able to help you as well. So today's question is from Marlene, and Marlene is saying, can my company stand a surety for my rental? Can they say they are paying to help because I don't have local references, or can they apply on my behalf? Marlene, without knowing too much about how big the company is or how small the company is and how that might be possible, I'd say my first answer is no, it's not really going to work for you. You're better off perhaps getting information or booking a consultation with ourselves and finding out what paperwork you can do. We work with internationals all the time, so everybody that we are working with has the same problem that you have. They have no local credit history. The reason being is that the estate agents want to know about the tenant. You also need to be taking responsibility for the rental property, so paying your bond, and the bond has to be filed in the tenant's name. It can't be filed in a company name. So it's actually done online and it's filed in the tenant's name, not in a company name. And why I said about the size of the company makes a difference for a few reasons. One is that if somebody in the company is going to be taking responsibility for the lease, usually the accountant or the CEO of the company has to take personal responsibility for it. An estate agent doesn't necessarily put a lease together to a company. It has to be to an individual person. So that means somebody in that company has to take personal responsibility for it, i.e. their names would be on the lease. And subletting is not usually allowed, because in that situation it would be that, say, the CEO has his name or her name on the lease, and you would effectively be subletting, which is not allowed. And also in bigger companies, it can take too long to process the payments. Bearing in mind, when you're approved for a property in Australia, you need to pay the first month's rent and the bond at the time of being accepted for the property. And that has to be paid within 24 hours to 48 hours. So some companies logistically can't process that payment. Some companies need an invoice to process that payment, and estate agents won't do that. They're kind of like, here's the lease, I don't have an invoice for you. Sure, smaller agencies are willing to perhaps do that. So there's a lot of factors that could make it worth your while, but generally I would say it's not going to work for you. The estate agents need to set up the lease with the people who are living in the house, and also because the processing of the payments can take some time. So there are ways to get around your credit history and showing information from where you are now, and uploading those onto your application. But generally speaking, I would say it's a no. Your company cannot really stand surety for you unless somebody within that company is personally going to take responsibility for it. So I hope that's answered your question. Thank you so much. And if anybody else has a question for me, do feel free to email me at this email address, or put your question in the comments, send us a message. We're always happy to answer your questions. Thanks again. Speak soon.